Hail and well met adventurers, and welcome for the first time to Fable Fire. I'm Cameron Holt, this is my channel, and as some of you have probably already noticed, we've gone through a name change recently, and I figured it would be best to use full transparency and let you know why that is. So we'll get that out of the way first, and then we also have some fun stuff to talk about, so stay tuned to the end. So why the name change? There's a number of reasons, but when it came down to it, it just made the most sense to me to do so. I received a message recently, I won't say who it was from, or show it to you or anything, but basically it was from someone saying, hey, heads up, I've owned the name Fantasy Forge since the 80s, and you don't have to change your name or anything, but we are planning to launch something next year, and so on and so forth. That's the message that kind of got me thinking about it. At first I was not going to change it because I actually looked into what they said about trademarks and years and found that most likely they were lying. Because the only active trademark that I could find for the name Fantasy Forge was for some computer software that was registered in 2019 in Norway. And this person's name was not the one that was on that trademark. So maybe they're confused, or maybe they don't know that their trademark died. But either way, they said that I didn't have to change the name, so I wasn't going to. However, some of you might be aware if you've searched for Fantasy Forge in the search bar on YouTube, there is another YouTube channel called Fantasy Forge Miniatures, which is a great channel. I recommend you check it out if you like D&D terrain building and miniatures for tabletop. But we started out kind of neck and neck, but they have recently exploded and are gaining a lot of subscribers and attention, and that is super awesome for them. The downside to that is that the more successful they become, the further down search results my channel goes, which is not great for me. So ultimately, between those two things, I figured it was for the best for me to go ahead and change the name. Also to avoid, potential legal issues down the road, because I do sell dice, or rather I did sell dice under the name Fantasy Forge Dice. However, that name has changed to Fable Fire as well, and you'll see all across social media that I've changed the name everywhere that it can be found. But that brought me to the conundrum of I have all these dice masters that I've hand designed and 3D printed and painstakingly sanded and polished to a glass-like finish, and then molded and cast. I still have like 100 sets that I haven't sold yet. And they all have the FF for Fantasy Forge on them. None of them say Fantasy Forge, thankfully, but they do have the FF. So I figured the new name that I choose should stay with that trend, but also stay thematic to what I like to do here, which is ultimately storytelling. Whether that be storytelling through art or creating the stories and the lore behind the D&D Pokemon Fusion monsters that we come up with here, or telling stories with the scenery that we create for our D&D games, or the world building that we do for D&D or writing or whatever you use the world building series for. So when you really think about it, the original way that people told stories was sitting by the fire. You'd sit around the fire and tell fables and ghost stories and things of that nature. And that's what led me to the new name, Fable Fire. That and the fact that it still sticks with the FF, so I don't have to change my entire design for my dice. This won't be affecting videos at all. Videos will be coming out as usual. I'll still be doing D&D Pokemon Fusions. I'll still be building things for tabletop. I'll still be making dice. I do want to continue the world building series. I know it's been a while, but I feel like I have more things to add to that. That being said, there may be a little bit of a pause before my next video comes out, because all of the titles and design and branding that I have is for Fantasy Forge, and I would like to get that swapped over to Fable Fire before I put out any more videos, especially since this is the official announcement. I'll probably play the theme song at the end, but you won't see the little sign with the Fantasy Forge, because that's not who we are anymore. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't sad to see it go, but I'd also be lying if I told you I wasn't excited about the change and seeing where we can go with Fable Fire. So there's going to be a full rebranding soon of everything here on YouTube as well as across social media. But it's going to be a second before that gets done, because I'm actually not doing it myself, because it wouldn't be as good if I did. However, all of that being said, as of the time that I am filming this, We've just hit 990 subscribers on YouTube, and that is absolutely wild. When I started this during quarantine, it was something to do with idle hands and an idle mind to distract me from my impending anxiety due to everything that was going on in the world and is still going on in the world. But I never could have dreamed that it would have gone this far, and I don't have words. So thank you guys so much. Those of you who have subscribed and those of you who support the channel and continue to support the channel. You're the reason that I continue doing this and that I have the motivation to continue doing this. And I haven't forgotten that when we hit 1,000 subscribers... Yes, Chloe. Yes, hello. And I haven't forgotten that when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a giveaway here on the channel. I can say now that the giveaway is going to include some dice, as well as maybe some other things. But there will be an official announcement for the giveaway and how to enter, and how I'm going to be, running it and how I'm going to choose the winner when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. If this is your first Fable Fire video that you're seeing, feel free to go back through the catalog. There are so many videos that you can watch. Whether you're just into art and digital painting, or if you like D&D content and things related to that, or even a couple of dice making videos, I encourage you to go check it out and maybe subscribe and stick around for the giveaway. And I think that's just about everything that I needed to cover in this video. So stick around for more to come. Let me know what you think in the comments of the name change. Hopefully you're into it, because I'm not changing it again. I like it, I think it fits, and I can't wait to continue as Fable Fire in the future. I'm not going to be going back and changing the intros and re-uploading videos or anything like that, because that's just A, too much work, and B, it would be silly to do something like that. So I'm not doing that. But everything else moving forward will be updated and correct. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, stay safe out there, adventurers.